Hello and welcome back to Down the Track. We are live in Dubai, and today we're reviewing the game between India and Sri Lanka. We just finished a few hours ago in the Dubai International Stadium, and it's Sri Lanka winning by 6 wickets, defeating India and leaving India with a very slim hope of qualifying for the finals. It looks like India are out of the Asia Cup now. They have been knocked out unless there is, a lot of results, a lot of things going their way, which is very unlikely. But again, a very disappointing trip to the UAE for Team India. It was the T20 World Cup last year, and now the Asia Cup. If you dissect this game, let's just start from the beginning. India lost a couple of wickets very early. KL Rahul and Virat Kohli. KL Rahul, LBW, tried to come down the track, and he reviewed it, but the decision was umpire's call, and he was dismissed. Then Virat Kohli came in, played across the line, and got clean bowled there by Madhu Shanaka, who bowled brilliantly. I think he was one of the best bowlers of the game today, if not the best. And yeah, Sri Lanka with the new ball and in the death overs were outstanding. In the middle, it was India who was dominating. It was Rohit Sharma, captain, leading from the front, an aggressive, fluent innings, 72 41 delivery, strike rate of 175, 4 sixes and 5 fours, and living up to the new expectation of Team India playing aggressive cricket. And they have posted higher totals than they did in the last tournament in UAE, but it still wasn't enough. And it's not just the batsmen, you have to blame the bowlers as well. But if you look at the batting, yes, you lost a couple of early wickets. Then Rohit Sharma and Surya Kumar had that partnership, and that laid the platform. India were going all guns blazing, 110 for 2 in the 11th, 12th over, and that's where you wanted Hardik Pandya and Pant to finish it off and take India past 190. But unfortunately, it didn't happen again. The middle order struggled. Even Surya Kumar himself, 34 of 29, he couldn't capitalize after that. Pandya got off to a start, 17 of 13. Rishabh Pant, 17 of 13, but no one converted that into 30s and 40s. And that's the thing. That's the difference between India winning and losing the game. I feel like if you look at it from the batting perspective, still 175, you could say competitive, but I think they're 15, 20 runs short. And I believe that Rohit Sharma said that in the post-match conference as well, that they were 15 runs short and they should have scored a bit more. And unfortunately, they didn't. They will have a lot of pondering to do ahead of that T20 World Cup. I think in terms of personnel as well, if you look at the bowling, they were a fast bowler short throughout the tournament. They should have had an extra fast bowler. They've benched at least one or two spinners in every single game. Today it was Akshar Patel and Bishnu who didn't play, so you could have had an extra fast bowler in a squad in place of one spinner. So you have that guy on the bench, but they didn't have that. Someone like a Deepak Chahar would have been handy. Even Mohammad Shami would have been handy in these conditions. But it is what it is. Disappointing performance. And if you just look at Sri Lanka's bowling, I felt that despite the middle overs not going their way, they bowled magnificently well. And Captain Shanaka, not only did he handle his resources really well, but he himself picked up a couple of crucial wickets. And the third one was also a close no ball for Hyde. Otherwise, he would have had 3 wickets. I felt he varied his pace really well. He pitched the ball short when required. He pitched it up when required, and those cutters were gripping the pitch. That ball he bowled to Surya Kumar, just gripped the pitch, and Surya Kumar couldn't generate that pace to lift it over third man. Also, Madhu Shanaka, I think he was outstanding, and he's been outstanding even in the previous 2 games in the death overs. Sri Lanka do get hit sometimes in the middle overs, but it's the death overs which are dragging them back into the game. It's really good to see because they do have quality spinners, but when they don't perform, the fast bowlers coming and backing them, and they don't even have Chamira, their main quick. Everyone's talking about Shaheen and Bumrah not there, but Sri Lanka rely on Chamira as well for breakthroughs, and he's their pace bowler, but he's not there, and they still managed to bowl really well. And also goes to show right now, because it's a new season in the UAE, it's the beginning of the cricket season, that it is helping fast bowlers. It's not just a spinning track or anything like that. And Sri Lanka showed it was the fast bowlers today who picked up the wickets. 3 for Madhu Shanaka, 2 for Karuna Ratne, who was outstanding, and 2 for Shanaka. Karuna Ratne as well, his economy was 6.75, outstanding bowling. He bowled that last over brilliantly well. And overall, Sri Lanka were outstanding. It was their opening bowling and their death bowling which won them the game. And if you look at the second innings, the Sri Lankan openers got off to a flyer, 50s for both Mendes and Nisanka, I felt they batted beautifully. They took their time, they assessed the conditions well, and then they started getting the boundaries. And when the boundaries started coming, they came in a flurry, and that put pressure on India. Uh, and yeah, it was outstanding batting. Both healthy strike rates of between 140 and 150, and some beautiful shots as well in that partnership. So they laid the platform, and after that kind of partnership was always going to be an uphill task for India. They did fight though. Chahal came in. We were talking about Chahal not picking up wickets in the tournament. He came and picked up 3 wickets, and India were back in the game. I felt in the 14-15 over, they had Sri Lanka under pressure. But again, that partnership, I think Rajapaksa has been their batsman of the tournament so far, and he played very sensibly today. It wasn't just hitting sixes. He did hit a couple of crucial sixes, but he did rotate the strike in between. He wasn't trying to hit every delivery. And Shanaka, the captain, outstanding. What a performance from him. Man of the match for a reason. And that shot, I think he played up Pandya in the 18th over, third last over, that release shot where he lapped it over a fine leg for 6. I think that was the game turning moment, and that gave Sri Lanka the confidence to go all the way, because up until then I think India had built a decent enough pressure and they had Sri Lanka on the ropes. But that 6 released the pressure, and then you needed 10 runs and over in the last 2 overs, and you always back the batting side there. And yeah, if you look at from India's perspective, Bhuvi, their most experienced bowler, both games he's got hit in the penultimate over. If you rely on him to give 6-7 runs, and that gives Arshdeep a lot of runs to play with. With 7 runs, he can't do much, and I felt that Arshdeep bowled the last over in both games really well. But again, he was expensive in his first 3 overs. So yeah, Indian bowling, just not living up to the mark. Yes, the toss didn't go their way. When they did win the toss against Pakistan, the first game they won, then they lost against Pakistan, Sri Lanka, both tosses, and both the games were gone. But I felt that there wasn't much due in this game. Yeah, Pakistan game, you could say there was a bit, but still not enough to favor the batting side completely. I felt that India with the bat should have done better today, and in that Pakistan game, even with the ball and in the field, they were sloppy in that Pakistan game and today. So a lot to ponder. Combination wise, picking and dropping players. Bishnoi had an outstanding game. You threw him like in the middle of the fire against Pakistan, and he performed. He picked up the wicket of Babar Azam. Despite that, he got dropped because of the combination. You wanted to play a particular matchup, and that's why you got in Ashwin. Ashwin didn't have a game till now. Then suddenly he comes in. A lot of chopping and changing. With the new management and new captain, I thought things would be a bit different, but they've had the same problems that they did in the T20 World Cup. So captaincy is not the issue in terms of that. It's overall, like, of course, you have to criticize Rohit Sharma at times as well. Like, he did get frustrated that he lost his cool a bit, and bowling changes wise, team selection wise, also he could have done better in the tournament. But it's not just the captaincy. Overall, the team has not performed. Hardik Pandya remained all-rounder. He was brilliant in the first game, but after that, when the pressure was on, he was nowhere to be seen. Rishabh Pant as well. You expect more from him. You expect more from Surya Kumar. He was outstanding against Hong Kong, but the big games, he just couldn't get a strike rate going, and that's his natural game. If he bats like had 100 strike rate, then it's going to be difficult. Rohit Sharma was the one who was looking the one man in form, but it's Surya Kumar who's actually in form the last few months. So that's something that was a concern for India, and they'll have to pick it up going into the T20 World Cup. There will be plenty of changes. They'll need experience in that fast bowling lineup. They'll need Bumrah back. They'll need extra pacers. If Harshal Patel is there, well, good enough, they can try Shami as well. Yeah, I think they should still stick with Arshdeep. They should support him and back him. I felt that at times he bowled really well. This is a learning experience for him. Remember, he's not played in a big tournament like this. He hasn't played against Pakistan before this tournament. So someone like an Arshdeep, it's a brilliant learning experience. But you expect more from their more experienced players, especially Bhuvi. Even if you look at the batting, Rohit Sharma did perform today, Kohli in the last couple of games, but you need them to be consistent throughout in the big games as well. I think Surya Kumar was a letdown in the big games. And KL Rahul was has just had a tournament to forget. I know there's been injury concerns and all that, but if he wasn't fully fit, then maybe they should have not played him in the tournament or anything in the big important games. It looked like India are taking this as a pre-practice tournament to the World Cup, but they did say that they want to win this tournament. On the field, honestly, they looked like they were much fresher than last year's T20 World Cup, but things just didn't go their way, and you have to constructively criticize them in certain areas, cricketing wise, of course, not beyond that. But their team selection, the approach at times, the fielding at times, the bowling discipline as well. They didn't mix it up as well as Sri Lanka did. So lot to ponder. But from Sri Lanka's point of view, all the positives there now going into that finals. They have one step in the final, I feel, and I think especially if the toss goes their way, they like chasing. Batting first, they do crumble at times, but they like chasing, and all their batsmen are contributing. That's going to give them a lot of confidence from top to bottom. From the openers to number 5, 6, then you have Shanaka, you have Hasaranga who can finish off games as well, and that will give them plenty of confidence. The bowling unit is looking really good as well. They have spinners, they have fast bowlers, and they're using the conditions to perfection. They're bowling to their fields, they're varying their pace and very accurate in lines and lengths. And credit to them, congratulations to them. Let's see who, if they do play the final, who they play against. Tomorrow's Afghanistan versus Pakistan in Sharjah, so an exciting game. And for India, they have a lot of things need to happen to go in their way. Afghanistan needs to beat Pakistan, then India needs to beat Afghanistan, then Sri Lanka needs to beat Pakistan, and then will be decided on net run rate. So it looks like kind of game over for India in this tournament, and they'll have to look and prepare for that T20 World Cup. They have a couple of bilateral series before that, and let's see what happens then. But I think that pretty much wraps it up. Thank you so much for joining me. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. I will get you the latest from the Asia Cup and the cricketing world. Thank you so much, and take care.